So the United States Forestry Service just did a study, and it's not surprising, and it shows that people who live in areas where there's a lot of trees actually live longer. So I got to thinking, and having my store from 1986 up to 2014, I knew quite a few people who lived very old, and of course my dad was one of them. My dad, if you guys remember, he was the watchmaker, did all the watches in Windsor Terrace and Park Slope, and he had a shop in downtown Manhattan. He was a master watchmaker for over 70 years. His name was Al, like mine, and he lived almost to 95. And COVID ended up getting him, and in 2020. But up until the time that he got COVID, he was actually going on the F train every single day, every single weekday, 5 days a week from his house on Prospect Avenue over to his shop, which was near Pace University in Manhattan, Lower Manhattan. And he did that over 70 years. And even right up until the end, he was still doing that. So I said to myself, there's got to be some correlation to why so many people in Park Slope and Windsor Terrace and even Borough Park have lived so long. And I started looking into it. And I think what you're going to find, and stay tuned, because these statistics are going to be really amazing. I'm going to actually tell you the neighborhoods that are the longest longevity in Brooklyn. So when thinking about it, I said to myself, logically, doing a little detective work, I figured to myself, if it's really true that people live longer depending on how many trees they have around them, then it makes sense that the neighborhood that I grew up in, Park Slope, Windsor Terrace, even like Borough Park, would probably have the longest life expectancy. And of course, that's what ended up working out. Out of all of Brooklyn, Borough Park has the highest life expectancy of 83.4. I'll put that statistic up here. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, that obviously, and we know it's true, that economic situations have something to do with it. Also, there's a lot of factors. Genetics has a play into it. But the point of it is that we also know that nature does calm people down. We also know that being around nature is very calming and pleasing. We know, like, if you have a dog, then that tends to lower your blood pressure. But I really think there's something to this. And the fact that Borough Park has the longest longevity, I think shows that, between Greenwood Cemetery and Prospect Park, figuring between those three neighborhoods I mentioned, it only makes sense that, now again, this might be, well, what do trees do? Trees make oxygen, right? It only makes sense that people living in that area would probably live longer. And that's what seems to flesh out. Now, after Borough Park, in this study, it found that Bay Ridge has it does pretty well. Also, Bensonhurst does pretty well. So maybe it has to do with the way now, I'm not a meteorologist, and I don't know how the wind blows through Brooklyn really, but essentially it seems that the areas from Borough Park and south seem to do a little bit better, at least in this study. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. And like I said, it seemed to flesh out, because in thinking about over the years, all the people coming into the store, not only were they older, but they were like my dad, they were really, really sharp and really had a really strong mental capacity, even physically, up until a very late age. So I think that has something to do with it. And I thought it would be pretty cool to do a video on the blue zones of Brooklyn. And of course, if you're living over there, of course, we know it's a great place to live. And this might be another added feature if you're trying to decide, do I live in Brooklyn? Do I live in Staten Island? Do I live in the Bronx? I don't know. Maybe if you want to live a couple of years longer, maybe, of course, you buy a house, or you buy an apartment or rent an apartment over in that area. It might help you out. You might live a little longer. Who knows? So as always, folks, I thank you for tuning in. And I'm here under a nice big tree. I'm in actually Sarasota in a place called, it's Captain Jack's Marina is where I am right now. And actually right behind me, it's Bird Key. And this is actually where full-time legendary singer Brian Johnson lives, from AC/DC, who was my son Matt's favorite band ever. And of course, Brian Johnson's the lead singer. He's retired now. He pretty much does a few shows, but started losing his hearing, so he's not doing too much in terms of music. He's getting up there. He's in his mid-70s. And but when I close the video, which I'm going to do right now, you might be interested to see where Brian Johnson lives. And he lives on this area called Bird Key, and his house is on the other side. But you'll get a decent idea as to maybe why Brian Johnson chooses to live here, and where he could live anywhere in the world. It's absolutely beautiful here in Sarasota on the Gulf Coast. So thanks for tuning in. Folks, if you want to leave some comments on the video, I'd really appreciate it. People who you know who have lived older, maybe their secrets to living older. I know my dad would always say he ate yogurt. That's, why he ended up living longer. But I think it is the trees. It seems to flesh out. So I don't know, what does that really mean? Buy a tree, put it in your backyard, or find a place with a backyard. Who knows? I know real estate's super expensive now in Brooklyn, but who knows? You're paying a higher mortgage, but you're going to live longer. So have fun, and I'll close the video showing you the area where Brian Johnson lives from AC/DC. So rock on, and for those about to rock, I salute you. And thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you, folks. Take care. So we got a lot of nature over here in Captain Jack's Marina. This is a great marina. You see a lot of yachts and stuff coming in from all over the world. You could actually join a club. I think it's $5,000 to join, and then for after that it's like $200 a month, and you could rent out a boat, and all you do is pay for the gasoline. But anyway, over here is Bird Key, and I've done other videos. If you're interested, just look on my channel and you will see a close-up video of actually Brian Johnson's house that I took from the outside. But this is Bird Key, and it's in Sarasota, of course, and it's right near St. Armand's Circle, which is like a high-end area of Sarasota where there's a lot of nice restaurants where Brian Johnson hangs out a lot. He's a motorhead, so he's got a big car collection, so he likes to drive out on Sunday morning, or he actually does spend a lot of time in St. Armand's, and he's a very regular guy. Anyone who's met him really likes him. So who knows, if you come to Sarasota, you can get some nature, certainly get some ocean, and rather some Gulf, and obviously find a lot of trees. Over here they have the banyan trees, which they're actually around the corner. I'll actually take a picture of those. That'll be how I close the video. So here's some cool trees though in the meantime, and I'll shut off with the banyan tree. So I guess I'll do banyan trees for another video. I have done them with the Barnum video that I did, but I thought this was interesting. And I don't know if you could really differentiate this, but this is a thing called LaBarge. It's LaBarge Cruises. So talking about trees being healthy, and actually water probably is healthy too. There's actually palm trees on the deck. It's like a booze cruise type of thing, but there's palm trees on the deck, and this will pull out really shortly. It's 5 to 5 in the evening, so probably by 6:30 this will pull out with a bunch of folks on it, and they're going to be going and looking at the sunset. That's a big thing over here. And I told you about Jack's Marina, so a little bit of Jack's Marina and some of those expensive yachts and boats and things that you see coming in. They're doing some work over here. So that's about it, folks. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video. And stay strong and stay healthy. Enjoy. Have a great night. Bye-bye. All right, so I guess there's always room for one more, right? One more crazy thing you see in Florida. I don't know if it's crazy, but it's the actual Gilligan's Island floating hut, which is kind of like a booze cruise sunset thing, but there you go. You see some incredible things here in Florida. So we'll close on that, folks. Again, thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye. All right, so this is really the last thing. This is a banyan tree. So there you go. Have a great night, folks. Bye-bye.